Hi and then welcome to my book corner. It's Tuesday, Tag Tuesday. Let's do a tag video. This one is the Don't You Forget About Me booktube tag. This is a super quick one in theory. We'll see how that works out. We have 4 tags plus a tag people one at the end. I first saw this over on the amazing Jessica's channel at Jess Bookgirl TV, link down below for that one. And this tag was created by Jolene at Bookworm Adventure Girl. So let's jump straight in to number 1. Clean slates, books you've read that you don't remember. There's going to be loads. The big one, and the way that I remember things is a bit odd. I may have mentioned before, I don't make notes for reviews because I just remember things. I just need certain keywords to spark stuff. And I'm like that in general on most books. So once I start rereading this, it'll come flooding back to me. It normally does. But it's book 1 of the original Mistborn trilogy. I think is it the Final Empire? Final Empire's first on my shelf, so I'm going to assume I've put them in the right order, but I might not have done. This is book 1 of the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. I have still not read the rest of the series because for some reason I bought book 3 first and then eventually bought book 1 and read it because of course I did. So I don't remember much about it. I remember vague bits about the main character. I remember the magic system being fascinating and really interesting to me. So I need to go back and reread that one before I continue with the series by the end of the year. The other one that I want to mention, and I can't remember the name of the series. I'm going to call it the Core Demon. I think it's called the Demon War series, actually. I know the last book of it is called The Core by Peter V. Brett, which is a really interesting series. It's almost got a dystopian feel to it. It's very much fantasy. This is about a group of, well, there's a load of demons trapped in the core of the planet, and certain people can kind of not so much summon those demons, but they learn kind of the demons' language and they can harness some of the power. And you've got a few different sort of main characters in the different books that kind of are working to the same idea of keeping them locked up or destroying them forever, but going in very, very different ways with each other. It's a fascinating series. I still haven't read the last book. I've got it on my Kindle, or I will have when my new Kindle arrives after I drop the other one in the bath. So we'll get there with that one, but I can't remember a huge amount, so hopefully when I read the last book, it'll all come flooding back again. Question number 2 is Genie Lamp, books you wish you could forget. So you can take this as a negative way, and a positive way. So I'm going to start with the negative, because there's not many books that I genuinely wish I hadn't read. But I blame Noah for this one. Over at the Bookworm, I will link him down below. Go give him some love. Or not, he doesn't deserve love after introducing me to these ones. The Monsters and Beauties series by Jenika Snow. So these are smut books, which I'd never read before, and this is specifically monster smut, which is fine. These, however, are not. These comprise of The Beast, which is book 1, which is kind of a spin on Beauty and the Beast. You have The Hunter, and you have Primal. I think Hunter, if I remember correctly, was Little Red Riding Hood. Primal, I think, was Goldilocks and the Three Bears, which Noah read live on stream, and he couldn't make it all the way through the book. The Beast was fine, I suppose, for what it was, but The Hunter left a very bad taste in my mouth. I actually found it really, really problematic, and when Noah read book 3, yeah, there were some words I do not want to ever see ever again in a book. Primarily the words seed and primal, because they used a lot. I think I did actually do a count on the word primal in book 1. It was ridiculous. But there's a positive spin to this as well, because some books, when you read them for the first time, they are so magical and you kind of want to relive that. And I feel like that for a number of the Discworld books. And specifically, I'm going to pick kind of book 1s in the mini-series as a rule of thumb. So Guards, and Weird Sisters for the Guards and the Witches sub-series, so to speak. But more than any is probably Hogfather, which is the first Discworld book that I read, and I mentioned in my booktube newbie tag way back when. That was very much the book that got me into reading properly, and then that was reinforced by reading Reaper Man. I still enjoy rereading the books today, but I would love to have that sort of first reintroduction without memory again into that world, because it is so amazing, so magical. Pratchett's writing is truly something special. If you haven't read a Pratchett book, I highly recommend you go off and you pick up either Guards, Weird Sisters, or Small Gods potentially as well. All amazing starting points. Just absolutely amazing. Question number 3, Forgotten Gem. Books you think need more love. So I have a few books to mention here. The first one I know I have mentioned before only came out earlier this year. It's Hyo the Hellmaker. This is by Mina, Ikemoto, Ghosh. And this is just an absolutely beautiful book. It's filled with artwork all the way through to sort of reinforce the story that's being told. I have got a full review of this. I'll link it at the top for you. Really fascinating take on using Eastern inspired mythology as well. Let's just kick the desk, why not? It's not even got 100 ratings on Goodreads, and I think that is absolutely criminal. This is amazing. This is very much a case of all the bits working together, and because it's got the more visual element as well, although it is not a graphic novel by any stretch of the imagination, I think this is an absolute hidden gem from the new releases for this year. But there are a number of indie books, which I think is more important to shout out in many regards as well, because the indie space has some really, really exciting books coming through and exciting authors. So the first one I want to mention is They of the West by Dani Finn. Dani has a number of books, some of which, a lot of them are romance, but with fantasy elements, but not all of them. This one, again, came out only in April this year. It's only 95 pages long, a super quick read. It only has 9 ratings on Goodreads, so go give this one a check out. It's basically a fantasy... How best to describe it? It's got a bit of a fantastical element, but it's very much got like a Western feel to it. And it's kind of a treasure hunt between two best friends. And the important thing here is these are just best friends. There's no romantic connotations here. The blurb for this is Draylen never could leave well enough alone. He knows better than to go near the canyons where the Logans live. Wild men of the hills said to devour lone travellers in frenzied midnight feasts. But the mysterious cloaked figure he saw down by the canyons had to be there for a reason, and he can't get his Earpa's poem out of his head. Something about They of the West and treasures buried in memory's mine. There's a lot more novella to that. I absolutely adore this. It's really sweet. It's really wholesome as well. I think it's one that is well worth checking out. On top of that, and I can't put my hands on it right now, I'm not sure why. Automaton by Ian Young. This only has 53 ratings on Goodreads as well. Link to my review of this one at the top. A really, really smart sci-fi novel looking at AI and the future of AI and what that can look like. Absolutely amazing. Meet by Dane Cobain. Again, only sitting at 48 reviews. This is a really smartly written, almost 28 days later take on the zombie apocalypse, but animals. Exceptionally clever, really gruesome in parts, really evocative as well, full of atmosphere. That's Meet by Dane Cobain. And I don't know if this author's still writing anymore, but Jeremy M. Moore, I've read 2 of their books, one for the road and Marcus Misadventures, the second one of which was meant to be book 1 in a series. Both absolutely amazing. I'll talk about one for the road a bit more. Very much a case of someone who's passed away, they find themselves in this sort of bar in the afterlife. You get kind of Day of the Dead feels from it, and they can see and interact with the dead spirits that are coalescing within this bar and can help them move on to whatever afterlife they're meant to go to. It's really, really smartly written, quite funny in places, quite affecting as well. Marcus Misadventures is the story of basically a bit of a nerdy person who works in a records department finding a magic book and just reading through it and ends up summoning a familiar called Marcus. And then magical hilarity ensues. Both well worth a read. They only have 12 and 15 ratings respectively on Goodreads as well. I think all of those books require a little bit more love. They're all well worth checking out. And if you don't check out indie authors in general, I highly recommend you do so, because some of the most exciting books you can find right now are indie books, and I highly recommend taking a look to see what you can find. Question number 4 is forget-me-nots. Books you will always remember. And there's a few, obviously already mentioned, but Hogfather is a big one for me, that really got me into reading. What else have we got? Hogfather's kind of the big one, actually, more than anything else. No, I think it's Hogfather. It got me into reading, and it really sort of solidified my love of fantasy works as well. Number 5 is tag people. Well, if you're watching this video and you want to do this, consider yourself tagged. Don't know how I made that go 11 minutes, but there we go. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up, and also dropping a comment down below if you don't have a channel, what your answers to some of these questions would be. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will catch you all very soon.